I never thought my own family would betray me. Growing up, my parents always told me the family was everything, that no matter what happened in life, family would always support. For most of my life, I believed that. I'm 26 years old now, and I have an older brother named Ryan who is 3 years older than me. When we were kids, we were actually pretty close. We played video games together, fought over stupid things, and annoyed our parents like normal siblings. But things started changing when we got old. Ryan was always the favorite child. He was more outgoing, more confident, and my parents always seemed proud. I was the quiet one, the one who studied more, stayed out of trouble, and tried to do everything. When Ryan finished college, he started a small business with help from our parents. They gave him money to start it and supported him every step of the way. At the time, I didn't think much about it. I was still finishing university and working part-time jobs to support myself. I assumed when I graduated, my parents would help me too. But that never happened. Instead, they kept putting more and more money into Ryan's business. And slowly, I started realizing something uncomfortable. My parents didn't just support him more, they trusted him more. Whenever there was a family discussion about money, property, or decisions, Ryan was always involved. I wasn't. At first I told myself I was imagining things, but then something happened that changed everything. About 2 years ago, my parents started talking about their house. It's the house we grew up in, a nice home in a quiet neighborhood that they had owned for over 20 years. One evening during dinner, my dad casually mentioned that they were thinking about putting the house in Ryan's name. I remember laughing at first because I thought it was a joke, but they were serious. When I asked why, my mom said something that I'll never forget. She said, "Well, Ryan will take care of us when we're old." I sat there in silence because apparently, in their eyes, I wasn't even part of that future. After that dinner, things felt different. I started noticing small details that I had ignored before. Whenever my parents talked about the future, they always included Ryan. They talked about how his business would grow, how he might expand it, and how proud they were of him. Meanwhile, I had just gotten my first real job after graduating. It wasn't anything glamorous, but I was proud of it. I worked hard to get there. But when I told my parents about my promotion, their reaction felt underwhelming. My mom simply said, "That's nice." Then the conversation quickly went back to Ryan's business again. I tried not to let it bother me, but deep down, it did. A few months later, my parents officially transferred the house into Ryan's name. I wasn't even invited to the meeting with the lawyer. I only found out because Ryan casually mentioned it during a family gathering. He said it like it was completely normal, like it didn't affect me at all. That night, I confronted my parents. I asked them why they never even talked to me about something that big. My dad looked uncomfortable, but my mom answered immediately. She said Ryan needed stability for his business, and that it made sense for him to have the house. Then she added something that hurt even more. She said, "You're independent. You don't need our help like Ryan does." That moment felt surreal. For years, I had worked hard to build my own life, and somehow that was being used against me. Meanwhile, Ryan, who constantly needed support, was being rewarded for it. I tried to move on and focus on my own life, but then another problem started. Ryan slowly started acting like the house was completely his. Even though our parents still lived there, he began making decisions about renovations, furniture, and even who could visit. One day, he even joked that if I wanted to come over, I should ask the owner first. Everyone laughed, except me, because I wasn't sure he was actually joking. Everything finally exploded during last year's Christmas dinner. It was supposed to be a normal family gathering. My parents cooked dinner, relatives came over, and everything seemed peaceful at first. But during the evening, Ryan started talking about his future plans. He said he might sell the house in a few years and move somewhere bigger. At first, I thought he was joking, but then my mom asked him where they would live if he sold it, and Ryan shrugged. He said they could probably move into a smaller apartment. The room went completely quiet. Even my dad looked shocked. For the first time, it seemed like my parents realized what they had done. They had given their house to someone who now saw it as just another asset, not the home where our family had lived for decades. I looked at Ryan and asked if he was serious, and he said something that still blows my mind. He said, Well, technically the house is mine now. That was the moment something inside me snapped. I stood up and told my parents exactly how I felt. I told them that for years they had treated Ryan like he was the only child that mattered. They gave him money, opportunities, and even their house. Meanwhile, I had to build everything on my own. My mom started crying. My dad kept saying they never meant to hurt me, but the damage was already done. The worst part is that Ryan didn't even seem to understand why everyone was upset. To him, it was simple. The house was his, and he could do whatever he wanted with it. That night, I left early and drove home feeling completely numb. For the first time in my life, I realized something painful. Sometimes, the people who hurt you the most are the ones who raised you. And now I'm left wondering if our family relationship will ever be the same again. Because once trust inside a family is broken, it's incredibly hard to repair.